Hello and welcome to Paxton Road TV. This is a Paxton Road TV special. We are talking about our new manager, Nuno Espirito Santo. What will he bring to Spurs? And I'm joined again by super special guests in the house. We have Mike-Hotspur Hustler, Darius3k, Sid Spurs, and we're joined by special guests, Callum Cabs and Danny the Bun. Welcome, gentlemen. How are we all doing?
Oh, good.
4-0. It's coming H star. I'm not saying it yet, but it's coming H star. Not saying it yet.
I can see we're all at various levels of okayness, shall I say. Some people look like they're hanging a lot more than I am, but I did not go out full hog last night. I knew what was going to happen, so I decided to take it easy. Had a few, but not too many. I can see by Mike, he's looking like he's had a few. What's going on, Mike?
He's not in a good way. I'm all right, lads.
Remember the score yesterday, Mike? Remember the score at least?
All I remember, Harry Kane getting 2. I remember that much.
Yes.
Coming through for me after all the doubters.
Yeah, truth.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you doubt him.
I mean, if he has a 3-game, if his goal drought is a 3-game goal drought, then I mean, he's pretty decent, isn't he? If that's what people are going to start calling him bad over, so I won't worry about Harry Kane at all.
Nah, we don't need to worry about him.
There was somebody sent some stats around, and his numbers are just incredible at all levels of football. Do you know what I mean? England, Europa League, Champions League, obviously Spurs in the Premier League Cup game. He's just numbers guy, and he can't be doubted. There's some people saying, "Oh, he's not world class. He's just in the right spot at the right time." Well, that makes you world class, doesn't it?
We can't let him go either. As a Spurs fan, we can't let him go next season.
That might be a debate for another show. Anyway, gentlemen, we have a new manager at Spurs, Nuno Espirito Santo. It's taken 70 odd days for us to get there. He's been unemployed in that period of time as well, pretty much. End of the season, he left Wolves. We could have napped him up early doors, but we went through all that stuff and we all know the turmoil, the ups and downs. But we now have a manager who is now going to take us into pre-season, starting on Monday. And I don't know if it's excitement, if it's just relief, whatever it is. But I'm going to start off with our guest first. I'm going to come to you, Callum. What are you expecting Nuno to bring to Spurs?
I think the main thing I'm expecting is 3 at the back, which I'm not angry with. Maybe controversially, but I've seen 4-2-3-1 for too long at Tottenham. I want new ideas. I didn't necessarily want him. I think his appointment is underwhelming, especially when you're linked to names like Conte. I didn't really want Poch back either, but these are big name managers, and then in comes Nuno. But yeah, 3 at the back, regular wing back, maybe revitalising Doherty. I'm not angry with it. I feel like as a Tottenham fan, I've sort of just accepted it is what it is. Like, this is our level. He's not the worst manager available. He had a poor season last season, but when you take into context injuries, Jimenez, losing Doherty, who was in form for them, things like that. But yeah, I feel like I'm sort of just ready to see where he takes us. And it's going to be next season's going to be a roller coaster, but last season was as well. It's the life of a Spurs fan.
You're sitting there like a G in that dressing gown, just G'd up with a cup in his hand as well. I like that. Mic. That's how it is. That's how it should be. Holding the mic and just G'd up.
I had to invest in a mic.
Holding the mic.
He was poor, so here I am.
Wicked. Okay, we're going to come to the Bun next. The Bun. What are you expecting? Are you excited? Are you just whatever? Tell me.
Do you know what? I'll be honest with it. It's like Callum said, yeah. It's an underwhelming appointment, but at the end of the day, it's the best out of a bad bunch, because it could have been a lot worse who we got. I mean, we could have had Ryan Mason for the season. Do you know what I mean? So it's better than Ryan Mason. So I'm happy with that. But this is the situation the owners have put us in. So yeah, I mean, look, we're gonna get behind him. I think the idea is they obviously, the good thing is you could probably say is it looks like that he might play some youth next year, maybe integrate some more youth next season. And yeah, it's like Callum said, like the 3 at the back is going to be a different sort of tactical change. And from what I've been hearing, what they want to do with the players they want to bring in, they're going to try and do it so they allow someone like Reguilon to bomb down more, and they'll have someone cover him on the left centre back side, so he can play even more up the field. And do you know, it all depends. It all depends on now it kind of depends on. It doesn't really matter who it is. It just depends on who they get out the club now, who the Deadwood they get out, and who they bring in. So I think for me, I will have a clearer understanding of what Tottenham want to do on the 31st of August once the window is closing, basically. So after that window is closed on the 1st of September, then we'll know what Tottenham's ambitions are and what they want to do. So that's what I'm waiting for, to be honest.
One of the things that came out of the interview for me, there was that Parachiti brief interview, and there was the one that obviously Nuno did as well. They kind of almost threw a blanket over everything. He was saying, we're going to try to use youth. We're not going to discount old players. We're going to have the experience. We're going to do this. So it's like I threw a whole blanket everything just to say, I'm going to try and do everything, which kind of meant to me, have they really got this plan? The other thing that was kind of apparent was the way that they were talking, it wasn't necessarily going to be a three at the back, although they might play a four, but play a little bit lopsided, where the right fullback tucks in, and then the left fullback, if that's Reguilon, bombs on, making the three at the back, but not necessarily starting out on paper. It's going to be interesting because I was a bit underwhelmed in terms of his flexibility, but then I did a little bit of research on him, and going back to his previous clubs, Porto, Real Ave, I think it's called, he did actually create a system around the players that he had. So I think he did that at Wolves. Not so good last season, but the previous 2 seasons were good. So I'm just looking to see how this flexibility is. Is it going to be, right, I'm going to have a rigid 3-5-2, 3-4-3, or is there something in his makeup in terms of how he wants to play, using the players that we've got? As you said, Danny, though, we got to get a whole host of Deadwood out first.
Do you know what, Sam?
Yeah, go on.
It's. I think the good thing about him, what I've seen and what I've done my research on, I think it's the fact that he can change it up. He's not he's tactically flexible. Like if you look at Porto, right, that season, what he did was he was, I can't remember the formation he started with, but I think it was a 4-2-3-1 formation, right? And they weren't breaking down teams with a low block and stuff like that. So what he did, he changed it to a 4-4-2. And then when he started doing that, they started winning matches. So I think in the season, he can change it up. And I think he'll probably start with I think it's going to be like a 5-3-2. That's what I think it's going to start with. And then he might start changing up to be like a 3-4-3, see how that goes. I think he's going to change it probably a few times during the season to see what's going to best fit who we have. But again, it's like you said, and like I said, I think it's just what happens and who we get out and who we bring in. That's going to be key.
This is a massive summer transfer window just for his sake alone, just to see. He's obviously got the backup of Paratici now. Hopefully, as we've talked about before, Danny Levy's taken a step back from the footballing side of things. He's obviously still going to press the green light in terms of transfers, monies, all the rest of it. But it looks like Paratici's got a lot more say alongside Nuno, and hopefully that will spell good things. Sid, what's your thoughts in terms of what do you think our friend Santos is going to bring for us?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's going to be hope. That's the new formation we're going to play, because with Dyer, Sanchez, Aurier at the back, it's going to have to be hope. Unless we get rid. It's true. It's just hope, innit? Until he sorts it out. It's like the one we're saying, get rid of the Deadwood, and then he can actually start thinking, right, what's my formation going to be? But you know what? In terms of him coming to Spurs, I think as soon as Paratici got the job, he was his main man, weren't he? He wanted him more than anyone else. So Paratici's got his man. Nuno's probably got his dream job. It's only a 2-year contract, but we have to get behind him. Daniel Levy's going to have to get behind him. And it's like like what you're saying, the formation is going to change. I think pre-seasons, the 4 games we've got Orient, MK Dons, Chelsea and Arsenal, he's going to be mixing it up to see what it's going to suit. Because for me, that Man City game, he's going to have a kind of a formation, because City are going to be, I know it's first game of the season, City might still be a little bit wishy-washy, but he's got to have some kind of a system set up. And if that system works for him, then I think we could see that system for the first 10 odd games. If the system doesn't work, then I think he'll then change it against Watford. Then again, I think he'll change it against Palace. And then Arsenal game, Chelsea game is where he's going to have it in place and get it rolling, because how many games are we going to give him to experiment? Yeah, he's got to have it in place.
I think you're definitely right on that one. I think there'll probably be some behind doors games that we probably won't know about. That's not listed as the regular pre-season fixtures. So there will be opportunities. They obviously start training from Monday. The majority of the players are there. Obviously, there's some notable ones that are still playing in the Euros, etc., etc. But I think you'll get a good opportunity to do a lot of stuff in training. That's where you get to find out your formations. That's how you get to work out who can play together, who can do this. Is it going to work as a free with certain players that we've got at this moment in time? And that's the thing that we've all kind of touched on. If we're basing it on the players that we've got, we're going to have some slight issues bringing certain players from what we were talking about. And you, Sid, is doing your Sid Says transfers. You've got a good handle on that along with Darius. So I'll come to Darius next. What's your initial thoughts on what you think Mr. Espirito Santo is going to bring to Spurs?
You know what? Honestly, I'm not saying that I'm optimistic, and I'm not saying this is going to be a great appointment. But you know what? I was kind of doing a bit of research on Nuno, and he seems like he's sort of in the middle of our past two managers that we've had. And I don't know what it is for you. Well, I don't know for you guys, but for me, that's sort of like all of it, sort of exactly what we need, in my opinion. I think those games that we play against the Cities, against the Chelseas, who we know that we're not going to dominate, we have to have some sort of pragmatism. We have to play some sort of tactical, defensive sort of style of football to be able to get a result. I mean, it's not like we beat City again when Bergwijn scored his goal. We didn't beat City because we attacked them. We beat City because we held out and we won. And we won because we were defensively solid. So for me, if he can get that balance of attacking teams that you know we can dominate, because when you have people like Kane, Son in that team and Ndombele in that team, you should be dominating teams. But if you can find that balance to sort of play in a sort of pragmatic, quick intensity, counter-attacking style against the Man Cities, against the Chelseas and Liverpools, I think he could do quite well. That's what I hope. But what Danny said is more important. Whoever doesn't leave, or whoever leaves and doesn't leave the club, is the most important thing for me now. You've got the manager, 1. 2 is outgoings, 3 is incomings for me. I think outgoings is way more important than players going in. If we still have the likes of Dyer, Winks, Davis, all these players still at the club, there's no point in bringing in 3 or 4 more players, in my opinion. There's no point. And also, you're probably going to be restricted to bringing in players because of the homegrown quota and all that stuff. So for me, manager was obviously the most important thing, but I like the Bun said, I'm looking at outgoings now more than even incomings. I've seen the links that we've been linked with, and I do like the players that we have been linked with, but I'm not seeing players going very quickly. And I'm also seeing Levy almost expecting double what we should be really expecting for the players that are being sold. I'm seeing that Ben Davis he's wanting 30 million euros. Get out of here, bro. Like Ben Davis is not even worth 30 million pence or 30p. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I think Davis should stay.
Okay, Davis is a bad example. I think you're right about that. He's a bad example, but
if we're paying the 3 at the back, Davies is the left centre back. I feel like it could work.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
Regular on a little bit of cover.
I just wanted to add before I get to Mike that the reason why probably we haven't seen a lot of outgoings as such, because he might want to give some of these players a chance. He may want to see them in the first couple of weeks, see what their attitude's like, see if he can. I don't know if he's got enough time to do it before the start of the season, but he's got to make some initial assessments. I would go in there, do some things in terms of training, blah, 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 get some practice games on and see, can this player play in that position in a system that I completely want.
Thing is, though, Sam, I don't care what Dyer's attitude's like.
This is what I'm saying.
Get rid.
There's some players that don't deserve any more chances, and that's so true.
Listening to Dyer being given another chance ain't doing my hangover any good, mate. So,
no, honestly, he's right. There's a couple players that deserve another chance.
Sanchez,
Dyer, Winks, Ali. For me,
they're not even going to give any of them lot a chance. I know Dyer. For me, Dyer and Sanchez, I don't want to give them a chance, but they might have to, because we can't just
stay. We all know that.
If we give them a chance, if we give them a chance, we can't be playing 3 at the back. That's just suicide. You'd have to play 5 at the back, or just go back to a solid formation.
You need 10 at the back. You need the whole team at the back. Just stick Harry Kane up top there, and that's it.
191 or whatever it is.
Well, I'm going to come to Mike next, but what I firstly wanted to say, I've got some nicknames for you lot. The bun, the double bun, the G in the corner with the microphone, Sid Says, and Hanging Hotspur Hustler. That's what I'm going to call him. Hanging Hotspur Hustler. By the way, happy birthday to Mike. Happy birthday to Mike.
Happy birthday, bro.
Cheers, lads. Cheers.
Right, Mr. 25. Hustler.
I wish.
Might have to double that.
I wish, mate.
He's looking double that, but he's cool.
I feel
it right now. I feel double that right now.
Do I need to put my suit on, Mike?
Sorry, mate.
Do I need to put my suit on? Or are we going out?
Nah, we can leave that suit. Leave that suit in the closet. Leave that suit in the closet.
Nothing's right.
Just apologies to people for the unprofessionalism just there, but we're just having a bit of a laugh. Anyway, I'll come to you next, Mike. What's your initial thoughts on the appointment of Mr. Nuno Espirito Santo. I like saying that because I get it right now. I at least get it wrong all the time, but now I know it.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to try and pronounce the rest of the name. I'm going to keep it simple. Nuno. Like everyone said, it is an underwhelming appointment. We can't lie. I don't think, as the others have mentioned, I don't think it's the worst appointment in the world. There's a lot more managers out there that we could have had who are probably in a worse condition. No, not a worse condition, but they're not probably as held in as same sort of steam of light as Nuno. But I think he'll provide, or he'll bring a solid and stable squad to us. I pray he gets rid of some of the deadwood, as the guys have mentioned. I mean, Dyer, Sissoko, Sanchez, Aurier. There's a whole list. There's probably 10 players that we could easily. I mean, we've mentioned it before as well in other shows. We could easily realm off 10 odd players that we could get rid of. But I think and Darius mentioned about players coming out rather than coming in. I would rather see players coming in than players going out. I'm just reading those comments there.
Grandpa Stevens, you're
just
on
proving they're
point
not.
today.
That is my hair, mate. That is
I'm
my hair.
half asleep. Does Darius have a pair of Mickey Mouse ears on? He's taking the next level here, man. Come on.
Mate, I see the Mickey. I'm trying not to read it. I'm trying not to laugh, and I'm just like, oh, boys.
Oh God, sorry, Mike. Go back.
Mate, yeah, no, Darius mentioned about players going out first rather than players coming in. I'm kind of the opposite. I'm kind of wanting to see players coming in first before players go out, purely on the basis that if we get rid of all this dead wood and then we're struggling to bring players in, then our squad could look bare, and we could end up with sort of panic buys, which we've been there, we've had that. When we got rid of Gareth Bale, we brought in 7 or 8 players, and it was only Eriksen that was the remainder of those players we brought in. So I would rather players be brought in that Nuno and Paratici they would want, rather than us get rid of players first. But it's all swings and roundabouts, isn't it? I just hope he brings some stability to the squad, and we don't end up in a bit of a roller coaster as we was last season, because that's not going to do any Tottenham fan any good after the season we've had. So stability is what I want to see, and obviously, as everyone else has mentioned, new players in, old players out. I mean, I heard Toby wants to leave. I don't know if that's true. If that's just
I was going to ask that question, Mike. I was going to say, do you think the players, because obviously Toby and Aurier have expressed their desire to leave. Aurier, I don't care if he leaves, but Toby, I'm kind of a little bit reluctant. But do you think that those players who want to leave should be the first ones that we should get out, or do you think it should just be the worst players?
I was of opinion of the players that want to leave, and if they were the better players of the squad, so to speak, I was of the opinion that no, we should try and keep hold of them. But if players like Toby want to go, I'm of the opinion now, go get the money, or if we can do a clever player swap deal plus a bit of cash. Do you know what, Toby? You've had your time. You've been a good player for us. You've had 6-7 years at the club. Yeah. He's 32. Do you know what? It's time to go. If that's what you want.
What's your thoughts? Do you know what? I'm the same. I was saying this yesterday on Bob's stream as well. For me, Toby, if you look at Toby, right, before Mourinho came in, he looked like he wanted to go anyway under Poch, right? Yeah. He was at a point where he wanted to leave. He didn't sign his contract extension. And then as soon as Mourinho comes in, he signs his contract extension, which tells me he doesn't want to stay for the club. He wants to stay because of the manager, right? So even then, you maybe they could have started looking at it. Now, I know he's probably technically our best defender, but it's like Mike said, I don't want anyone who doesn't want to put their effort in for the badge, right? 100%. If they don't want to put 100%, they can F off. Like, honestly, they can just go do one, because the problem is, right, these players, if you look at it this season, the amount of players that haven't put enough effort in, it's just ridiculous. These are professional footballers that are highly paid, and they're paid by a lot of us fans, by going to games and watching them on TV, right? So it's all paid by us. So, and for them to give us performances like they have done, this is a joke. And also, he is getting older now. He is 32, and he's not looked the same in the last couple of years. He's still good, but you can see that he's not the same player. So if you can get money, or like Mike said, trade him for a player in a deal, then for me, he's got to go. And I think someone like him, someone will probably still take a punt on him, like maybe someone in Italy or someone in Spain or someone like that, and maybe you could work out some kind of deal and just get rid of him.
And that's the player.
There's a few defenders that have kind of. I think Johnny Evans is one name. Who else is older players that have kind of moved on and kind of still played at a decent level.
You can use Silva as an example. Silva went to Chelsea and he flipped him won the Champions League. So he's 36.
Yeah.
So.
And Toby can still play at a good level. He's not.
Ramos has just gone to. I know we're talking about elite centre backs, Ramos and Silva, but for me, it's the speed of the Premier League. Like the amount of wingers who are gonna blind past Alderweireld, he physically can't catch up with him, and that's not on him.
Burned too easy nowadays.
Do you know what I mean? So, I 100% agree. I think he could actually probably continue his career for another 3 or 4 years in the Serie A or French league.
Good centre backs won't allow themselves to be in a position where they get beat for pace.
I understand that.
Their reading of the game and understanding, I'd be surprised if you saw Toby get absolutely grilled for pace by a striker. I think if anything, you're more likely to see strikers. If Toby's playing, the strikers are more likely to get in and around the box. And you saw it last season. How many times did a goal go through? A goal get conceded where the ball's gone through Toby's legs, where he's tried to defend it, and do you know what I mean? So
you're right. You're right, Mike. His positional awareness is one of the best. That's why he's always been so good. It's just, again, I think it also is down to the fact that he probably doesn't want to be at the clubs, and when you don't want to be somewhere, a lot of players will always drop off, no matter how good you are, because their just heart's not in it. It's not the same. Level of desire to play for the team is not the same, and that's it. And do you know what I think? Right, I just on Toby, right? I think they've known Toby wants to leave for a while. I know there's reports about it that he's told them before the summer. I think the reason why these Anderson links have come out, right, is because I think they've seen him as the direct replacement for Toby because of the way he plays. He's younger, he's taller, he can ping a ball similar to Toby, and I think they've looked at him and said, that's going to be our Toby replacement, and that's who we want. That's what I think is going to happen.
And for Nuno to be successful,
he's going to come in.
Yeah, definitely. And for Nuno to be successful, he doesn't need these players. If these players don't want to play for the badge, they're not going to do him any good. He's just going to end up being put under a bus like Poch, like Mourinho. Get rid of them. Like if they don't want to be, the same with Ali. If you don't want to be there, fine. Go and find yourself another club.
So I'm gonna ask this question before we move on to looking at some of the stats. I'm gonna come to Callum first, and I'm gonna come to you. It's a double question. So who do you think, in terms of players, may adapt and improve under Nez, and who may struggle to adapt under Nuno? I'll come to Callum first on that one.
I think we're all hoping that Doherty can improve and be more like the player he was at Wolves, especially if Aurier's going and we don't sign another right back, then Doherty has to step up. Yeah. I could see maybe Lo Celso. I think for me, I'm giving him a one more chance. I backed him heavily the season before last. I think he done well towards the end of the season, but last season he didn't show enough for me. I'd like to see a lot from him. But I agree with Darius, man. I'd like to see a lot of the dead weight moved on. Winks, Lamela, Sissoko. These players, for me, they don't have a future at the club. They need to go. And then with Dele Alli, I'm seeing people getting excited by his training pictures, couple abs, little one blue thread, and people getting excited.
It does my fucking head in.
Sorry, Callum. Can we just speak about the fact that Spurs official on Twitter are posting fit pics for Dele Alli now?
I don't.
Nah.
What was he wearing the other day? Was he wearing like a Gucci outfit? And
Louis Vuitton, Danny. I think it was
Louis Vuitton. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be Gucci tomorrow. I'm telling you.
Ridiculous, bro.
I feel like Spurs fans need to stop being. Well, a lot of Spurs fans need to stop being naive and just accept that he's not. He's a moments player. He'll have moments in a couple games. He might score one good goal in 5 games or whatever. But his time at the club is done. And really 100%. And truly, the longer we hold him, the more his value is going to decrease. But like we need to cut our losses and invest in a decent replacement. We're not going to get the Delhi from 2016-17 under any manager. I feel like the issue is managers come in and they remember Delhi from the Premier League 3-4 years ago, and they think, I can be the one to revitalize him. This is why cut our losses, man. All these managers get excited over Delhi. He's not that guy.
Trey Johnson's got it right.
Guys? Can I ask you a question on Dele Alli?
Yeah.
because I was doing. I've been seeing a lot of reports, right? From Villa news and stuff like that. So there's a lot of talk from ex-Villa players and Villa fans and stuff like that. That apparently, if Grealish was to be sold to Man City, apparently the person they might target is Dele Alli for around 40-50 million. Now, if that was the case, mate, I would take that all day long. Would you guys want him to go?
Let's Sid answer that first.
I'll take 30 as well.
Sid, what's your thoughts on that? Would you drive him there? Because I'd take him. If he wanted a cab fare, I'll give him his cab fare. If he wanted to go by train, I'm giving him his train fare too. Whatever way he wants to go. Yeah, definitely.
First class. You can have first class.
Listen. I've said my piece on Dele Alli. I still think he's got it in him. I still think so. And you know what? All you people are out there saying GLC. I'm telling you now, this time next year, we're going to be having these conversations. And you, mans, I'm going to tell you lot, GLC, you're going to be saying, get rid of GLC, right? He's not the man that we want. I'm telling you now. Dele's still got it in him. And the worst thing is,
I tried to set Sid up there.
If what Danny is saying is correct and Villa are looking at him, the last thing we want to do, get rid of a player not get a player that we wanted going to Man City, because we wanted Grealish from day one. Grealish going to Man City, they're getting Dele Alli, right? Dele Alli then performs for Villa, which I think he will. We end up with GLC, and at the end of the season, all you lot will be crying because GLC was shit.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I do feel I do feel like Dele will go to another club and he'll perform, but he's not going to do that at Tottenham. So there's no point hanging on to him. He will go Villa, and he might have a little Lingard burst, little 10 goals in 12 games. He will do that.
Sam, can you put that Tanya's
I'll put Tan's up. She says yes, Sid with the GLC agenda.
I'm telling you
now, because we've had this. That's why I went to Sid first, because I know he's a Dele fan, and I'm saying we've had this argument. I'm saying drive him.
I'm sorry, but Dele's been he's had 3 years of chances and he has failed every single year. Get him out. Get him.
You know what? Mourinho was an agenda. Mourinho was an agenda, right?
What? So he down tools at Poch and got Poch sacked. Basically, he was one of the players that down tools.
How many players down tools with Poch?
Everyone, and they're still here.
Yeah,
should be gone. All of them. Musa Sissoko, Serge Aurier, Ben Davies, all of them should be gone. And Ali's the same. And so is Winks. It's their mentality, Sid. Do you know what? For me, it's the problem is, right? Do you know what will piss me off more than anything? If Dele Alli starts playing well this season, because that tells me, tells me that he's literally down tools, and because of the manager's gone, now he decides to play for the badge. That's what I would say.
That's true, but
get him out.
Flip side to that,
I'm sorry, Sid, man.
No, it's fine. Listen, I'll argue all day long with that. I understand that, but the worst thing we want to do is get rid of him to Villa, and he performs at Villa.
I know.
Let him perform.
That's what I'm saying. If we replace him with an adequate player, I don't care what he does. I'm more power to him. Obviously, he'll be a direct rival, but
I don't think Daniel. I don't think Daniel Levy.
Man, he's a midfield machine. That guy. He's got 1 year left on his contract. And Tottenham have been tracking him for years. Frank Kessié from AC Milan.
We said that about
him the other day.
Different player.
Different player.
Yeah, but he scores goals.
He's more what we need.
Goals last season. And he assists as well. He's taken that. And he's a defensive midfielder.
Going back to Dele Alli though, if we did sell him to a Premier League rival or whoever, if you're gonna call Villa a rival, and he does go and do bits, because that's the worst thing and like you were saying, if he did that would make every Spurs fan angry, because the fact that he hasn't been doing it, but then goes somewhere else and starts doing up bits. I don't want to see that. But this is the comment I was want to say.
A man reading Grandpa Stevens' comment.
No, I'm coming back to Grandpa in a minute. But this
the thing is, I remember what video he's talking about from a few years back as well. Yeah.
He's a boohoo model, not a footballer serious. That's what people are saying. So I'm not saying, Sid, that you're wrong, but I'm just saying you might be in the minority here. You might just well be. Grandpa Stevens. I haven't been able to take that seriously since seeing that video of him awkwardly standing there. Oh, with his Willie out. Pray for Pep's daughter. You don't know what he's doing.
That was the worst video. That's the worst video I've ever seen, bro. It's terrible. It's terrible.
I'm going to try and bring it back.
You know what? If Villa want Ali, couldn't Spurs be a bit daring and say, right, okay, if you do want Ali, let's get Grealish.
Absolutely.
I'll be like,
what kind of trade is that, Grealish for Dele? I'll be like,
no.
I would
Pay the
give.
cash.
Do you know what? You have to
Player
spike
plus
that owner,
cash.
mate. You give him some drugs, mate.
Ali plus 40 mil.
Yeah, give me McGinn as
player
well.
plus-
Give me McGinn as well. I'll have that.
Player plus
I'll give him some
cash.
dosh.
Done.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
absolutely.
But the thing is, though, I know Grealish loves Tottenham
Ali
deep
plus
down,
50
but does he
million.
want to
Yeah,
play?
he does.
Does
He
Grealish
does.
want to play Conference League though?
No.
Never.
You know what, right? The only way we'd ever get Grealish is if Kane was staying at Tottenham because he loves Harry Kane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he loves him.
That's his big brother.
Yeah.
That's true.
But then
That's
again,
true.
they both could be at City. So,
They're gonna be a City, man. They're gonna be a City, both of
you know
them.
what I mean?
I'm going to take a look at some stats now. Get onto this next part of the show. So I'll put up the initial stat I had in terms of managerial career for Nuno. So again, the interesting things where his longest stint has been at Wolves for 4 years, taking him from the Championship up into the Premier League and had 3 decent seasons in the Premier League, 2 very good ones, I would say, and then 1 not so good last season. But was at Porto, Valencia before that, and Rio Ave, if someone wants to tell me that's correct. Win percentage-wise, ranging from 40 up to 55% at Porto, down to around 47 or 48%. That's just his initial record. What I wanted to do, though, was look more in terms of a comparison for what he's done in his best seasons at Wolves and also his last season at Wolves, and compare that to Spurs last season. So I'll bring this first initial thoughts up. And Hotspur Hustler, just talk me through some of these, what you actually see on here. So Leeds, Wolves' best season. Wolves' best season in terms of a league finish is 7th. Compare that to Spurs last season, we finished 7th. Last season, Wolves finished 13th. Obviously, 38 games played. I think the 12 wins is very low, in my personal opinion. So there was a lot of injuries, we know, 17 losses. It's the goals, though. Only scored 36 goals last season. And there was a lot of attacking talent in that team. I know the main striker was out. Jimenez was out, but there was still Podence, there was still Neto, there was still the youngster that was brought in.
Jota had gone, though, didn't he?
Jota had gone as well.
Yeah.
But
there's
even
a lot of goals you've taken out of that team already, just mentioning those 2 names.
Sure. Yeah. So even in their best season,
had a bad season as well. He hardly scored last season.
But if you look at their best season in terms of goals, that was 52. Compare that to us, where we all talked about our season last season as being horrible. We still scored 68 goals. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, if we look at the goals conceded, kind of comparable if you look at the best season for Wolves in our last season. So I don't know what to kind of make of that. What's your thoughts, Mike, on what do you make of that, just as an overview initially?
Well, what you're trying to say is we're on a par with Wolves' best season. That is where we're going with this, because look at the games that we've won last season to Wolves' best season. There's 3 games. That's a difference. Losses. You look at the goals that we've scored and they've scored. There's not much. There really isn't much at all in those stats. 12 clean sheets to their 13. Yeah, you're saying we're on a par of them, basically. I'm
not saying anybody else.
What I would say is generally we have a superior squad than Wolves have in the main. So you would hope that those stats, with Nuno coming out of Spurs with better players, you'd hope those stats there would improve with the players that he's got at Spurs, and hopefully the players that he would bring in, you'd hope that they would sort of do better than what we've had this season, and obviously you'd hope that those stats would be better than what he'd done in his best season at Wolves. But as we go back, it goes back to the whole who comes in, who goes out. I mean, if he has the players that we've got currently at Spurs, and we don't really kick anyone out of the club or anything like that. Well, I say kick them out, but if we don't sell anyone, then it's going to be one of those seasons whereby we're just going to be frustrated. So
basically the last 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, mate. Basically. And you can't. I mean, look at the stats. You can't really. I'll bring
them up again. No. Sid, what's your thoughts on the stats? So this is the initial one. I have some more. I have prepared myself today, so I've got a few more coming. But I just want to go back to this first one.
Yeah.
Sorry, with the comment going across the bottom. What's your thoughts on terms of that? Do you think we're now more comparing ourselves to the best Wolves team in 2019-20? Is that where we're going, or do you expect there to be an improvement in terms of the numbers with our new manager being brought in? Do you expect to see some differences there?
Do you know what? I agree with what Mike was saying. We are getting compared to Wolves. We are being the Wolves of the 2019-20 season. But if you look at the goals conceded, even under Wolves 20 last season before, even those last season, defensive wise, both have been shocking, right? 45 conceded, they conceded 14, their best season, and 52 clean sheets it's just about right. But I think I agree with Mike saying we've got better players, we've got a better squad of players than what Wolves have got. All right, they had injuries last season, and for me, Nuno now will be thinking, I've taken to Wolves as far as I can. Last season was shocking, as we all know. The season before was his best season, and he finished 7th. We've had a shit season last season. We finished 7th. So he's probably thinking, if that's their crap season with, say, Son, Kane, crap defense, I'm going in there. I'm going to make them better than what they were last season. So
okay.
I think...
So
that goes back...
Can I ask a quick question before? Sorry, Mike. So forget the trophy side of things, because that was very apparent and never talked about winning trophies in his interviews. Paratici's never won. And I'm going to I'll come to Callum first. If he finishes in and around 6th and 7th, is that going to be acceptable to Spurs this season?
Yes. I feel like our expectations can't be that high. We're miles away from Champions League football right now. I think 6th, 7th, maybe even 8th is realistic, if I'm being honest. I'm watching the likes of Villa and Leicester strengthen around us. Yeah. We're competing with them next season. Absolutely. And I feel like they're going to come out on top. And I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but I just don't really have high hopes for next season. But I advise all Spurs fans, lower your expectations. You can't be that disappointed.
It all depends on who he brings in, though. If he brings in the players that we've been heavily linked with, then our expectations, you'd think our expectations should be a little... I know we're not going to be going on winning Premier League titles or anything like that, but you'd hope our expectations would be a little bit higher than City. You'd hope we're challenging for top four.
I mean, put it like this, guy. We'll put it like this. If we finish 8th...
the back line isn't going to get us anywhere.
If we finish 8th and win a Carabao, I'm pretty sure everybody would take that here. Like, last season, if you asked me that, I'd have said no, because I didn't really care about the Carabao. But then when we got to that final, I was, you know what I mean? I wanted to win that cup. So I wholeheartedly agree with you, Callum. My expectations after 72 days of trying to find a manager and just pure and utter. I literally said it in the stream before. It was before pre-season, and we effed it up. So now we've got pre-season. It's like I can't have any intention that we're going to do well. So I say lower our expectations, potentially build the squad, develop the squad, get an identity and a philosophy going for your new players. And if you can go on a little cup run, then cool, let's go on a cup run. But I like you said, I'm not expecting anything. So I'm not really going to get onto Nuno this season. It's not a free hit, I would say. If he did terribly, then you'd have to consider it. But he almost has got a free hit. I think he has to develop the team that he's going to build, because I think we're going to sign maybe 3 or 4 players. And then if we can go on a decent cup run and show us that we're making progress, that's the main thing for me. If we're making a bit of progress after what happened last season and this preseason with Paratici coming in and stuff like that, then we can look maybe to the future and think, okay, it's going to go well. But if nothing happens and no players go out and our signings and our targets don't come in, I'm not having any expectations whatsoever at all.
I think, it's like mid-table.
Yeah, it's a bit like, when Chelsea got rid of Conte and they bought in Lampard for that one season where it was a free hit for Lampard. I know they had that transfer ban and whatever. This for me feels a bit like that. Come in, it's sort of a free season, just do what you got to do.
I think you're right. I do think you're right, but I just don't think we can afford to be anywhere lower than around. I think Callum said 8th is about the basement.
That's fine.
Look at the opposition we're against.
You know what? I think they're going to aim for top 6. I think that's what they're going to like. It's got to be their kind of target for this season. Because for me, what I think they're going to do this season is, look, I'm not saying that Nuno's the same as Poch, but the kind of vibe I'm getting is that he kind of likes to manage the team and the club essentially in a similar way, where he wants everyone united, all the staff, all the groundsmen, from the kitmen to the players to the academy. He wants everyone kind of feeling the same, like he puts his arm around everyone like a family kind of thing. And I think what he wants to do is he wants to get this, because at the moment, right, there's so much disconnect between the fans and the team and the club, right? I think the idea is what he wants. He wants to show something that can unite everyone again. Because if he can do that, then if he can bring the players on side and it'll bring the fans on side. And if he starts, like Darius said, right, it's kind of, you want to see that kind of, you want to see something building, you want to see something developing that's actually going to make a difference and make us a bit better and start showing us signs that, okay, look, we're actually going to start looking like we're going to improve. And I think what it is.
So whilst you're talking about that, Danny, I want you to carry on. But just looking at the raw numbers, so I'm going to bring the raw numbers as you said it, because all this talk, this is what all managers, I would expect them to come into the club and say, I'm going to do this, we're going to harmony, we're going to bring everybody together. But looking at his raw numbers, and that's all I can do at this moment in time. So from an attack perspective, looking at his best season, again, we're looking at goals being 52 to last season's Spurs at 68. Goals per match, 1.37. So we're not going to be expecting a gluttony of goals. I don't care what people say. We have got Harry Kane and we have got Son and we have got goal scorers in the team, but I don't expect that number to be higher next season, if I'm honest with you. I think it'll probably be a little bit lower. What I might look at and think, okay, he's going to be able to do is maybe, I said the chance creation last season wasn't great. I would expect us to be pretty accurate in terms of our finishing. That's what I would hope. I hope that number stays around about. But just looking at his defensive stats, again, are we looking at a counter-attacking team that's going to nick the odd goal and win by the odd goal? I don't know. What's your thoughts on that one initially, Mike?
If you go on the past teams, Nuno's always been very counter-attacking, and these stats probably back that up to a certain degree. And I go back to the fact that you look at the attacking players we've got, the shots that he had, the shots on goal, etc., they should be higher. The shot accuracy you'd hope would be in or around what it was with Spurs and stuff. But when you look at the tackle success, 57%, block shots, 136 to 105, interceptions, 437 to 342. It's counter-attacking football.
That's what it suggests.
It does. It backs the stats back that up. And if you go back to the previous sort of seasons where Nuno's been in charge, it has effectively been counter-attacking football. But we've tried this counter-attacking football at Spurs last season, and it's just not us.
That's my next point. So that's what I wanted to come to. Are we going to accept, because that's almost like a Jose Mourinho Mark II in terms of that. Now fans are going to be in the stadium. I don't know whether that's going to have an influence on how he's going to play.
Do you know what I'm worried about, Sam?
Go on.
I'm worried that we're not going to see like a philosophy, like a style. I see that because what Poch brought was, even in his first season, right, you could see what he was trying to do. You could see the style he wanted to play. He just didn't have the players to play it, right? And my thing is I don't know whether, none of us know right now whether he's going to bring a more attacking style to it, because he has played attacking football. Look at his Valencia days, right? He had the third highest goals scored in the league. He has a good record against top six sides, right? Even in that season with Valencia, if he was there 15 months, I think it was. Yeah. And he beat Atletico Madrid, who were the champions that season. He beat Real Madrid and drew away with them as well. And like the thing is, he also, I think he was a third or fourth most least conceded goals, I think, as well in that season.
Is that Valencia?
At Valencia.
It was. I think I've just got it up here. 70 goals scored and 32 conceded. So that,
now also, do you know who his centre back pairing were for that season?
Mustafi was one of them, wasn't he?
Mustafi and Otamendi.
Yeah.
Oh Lord! If he can get them to play,
so
Jesus
he
Christ.
got them two playing, and they were the third best defense in the league that season, right?
Mustafi.
So that tells you, and it's not just that, right? It's what he's done to play. He can make players better, more like what Poch does, right? He can squeeze everything out of a player, and for me, that's what I want to see next season. I want to see. I know we've got Deadwood, and forget them, right? I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the current players we do have. If he can make them better and make them more unified and play like a team, then it's going to show something. And that's for me I want to see a bit more attacking style like he had at Valencia. I want to see something like that, because he can do it. It's just whether or not he will or not, and whether he'll be more pragmatic, which I think possibly in the big games he might be like.
I mean, you can see if he has that same 11. I mean, that 11 we had is a strong 11, but we weren't playing to those players' strengths. That counter-attacking football to that starting 11 that we had majority of last season, it's just not going to work. But if he does, he can be attack-minded.
definitely.
And we've seen it. So if you've got Kane, Son, if you've got Ndombele, etc., there is no reason why you shouldn't be playing on the front foot. You don't need to be playing counter-attacking football, because most of the teams that play counter-attacking football in the Premier League are your mid-table to your lower table teams, or lower placed teams in the league. We should be playing on the front foot. I mean, if we were in the Champions League, then maybe that you would play more counter-attacking football because you'd be coming up against better teams. But there should be no need for us to be counter-attacking.
Do you think then, because I think Poch was of the opinion that he wanted to be a possession-based type team regardless of who they play. So even if it was against the likes of Man City or the likes of Liverpool, he wanted to be possession-based in terms of having a high possession. Are we now, and I'll come to Darius first, are we now looking at a manager that's going to be pragmatic in the sense of, if the team he feels is better than them or has better equipment, is he going to be more of a counter-attacking? And then maybe for the lower type, and I hate to use disrespect, but teams like Crystal Palace and your Brightons, and even though they're lower than us, they might. How do you see that style of play?
It's not even saying that they're lower than us. It's an inferiority thing. They go into those games not wanting to attack because they're expecting us to attack. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't really like going into games against the Man Cities and Chelsea's going gung ho attacking unless you've got the players to do it. And Poch's system was it choked the life out of teams almost. And don't get me wrong, he would go and beat he would go and beat these big teams. But it would never be a 4-0. It'd be a 4-3, a 3-2. Like, it'd be nail-biting stuff. But we knew with that system, there was always going to be an opportunity. For me, it can work. But like I said, you need the players. If we don't have the players, then cool. Let's play a system where we're going to have to be a little bit more reserved. But we can still counter-attack very quickly. I saw Spurs 2 goals against Arsenal in the North London derby. They were 2 of the most amazing counter-attacking goals I've seen. And that is stuff that we kind of need against those teams. And for me, it's not a comparison, but when people say Conte doesn't play attacking football, I don't believe people watch Conte when he plays. He does play very attacking football. And what he does is it's quick in transition. It's minimal passes to get on the pitch as quick as possible. It's not building a play like tiki-taka, like Barcelona, like an Ajax. It's getting the ball up as quick as possible. And for me, you can do that with the players that we've got. If you've got players like Ndombele who can play a threaded ball into Kane, who can hold the ball at his feet for Son to run on, you can get a great attack forming from those players. So that, Danny, you're 100% right. I just think it's...
Do you know what as well, Darius? I think as well, do you know what? I think the key thing here for me is fitness. Because last season the team had no fitness, right?
He's brought in, just wrote in the recent, he's brought in a fitness coach with those 3 signings.
Yeah, I know.
Specific fitness coach.
So for me, if they can get their fitness up, already those players are going to start playing better. Because for me, last season, right, if you look at all the goals we conceded in the last 10 minutes, right, and where we lost points, where we lost most of our points, it's because they were mentally and physically they were just too tired to concentrate or to hold out for a win or to keep that.
There's only a goal they had as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but if you counter-reverse that, we started off games really, really well, and what we did is we went up in game. I think it was more a case of the way that we dropped off so many games. We got that first goal, and then we kind of dropped off.
That's the Jose tactic.
And that Jose tactic.
We did, but Sam, if you look at the goals we conceded
as well, isn't it?
Most of the goals we conceded were in the last 10 minutes, and that's when mentally the concentration had gone, and their physical attributes and their physical sort of stature were probably not as good as it was, say, under Poch's years, because Jose didn't focus on the fitness side of the game. And the problem is, in the modern era with the Premier League, you need to focus on that, like Bielsa does. Look at Calvin Phillips in the Euros, right? The guy doesn't stop running. He's like a machine. And this is because they train on the fitness side of it, and it's so important now. And I think we need that back. We need Nuno to come in and get that fitness to a high level, because I think they perform so much better than they have done just with the fitness level.
I almost take fitness as being it's not even a
it's key. For me, it's key.
It's just a standard. You should be should have your players to be at the fittest level anyway. The thing that was Jose, he kind of didn't focus so much. He kind of left it to the players to make their own fitness up. He would do the tactical elements.
Yeah, imagine telling Dele Alli to go and train. Do his
exactly my point.
I think that's naive. I think that's naive from Jose.
Yeah,
training
exactly.
Jose is used to going to these big clubs where players already have that winning mentality. They don't need to be told fitness training. Like you say, Sam, fitness training is the bare minimum of a footballer. You go to a club like Spurs, a man want to do basketball and cricket in training. They don't train. Like they needed someone that season. They needed someone to tell them. Like Poch was doing double training sessions every day. I feel like that burnt the players out in the end. But
but they didn't like it as well.
You didn't focus on fitness at all. And
what player is going to say, I don't like training, double training sessions? I'm sorry. Like, for me, maybe it's a lot. Maybe that's a lot. But at the end of the day, you should be doing double sessions maybe 3-4 times a week minimum anyway, as a top player. So I don't really, if you don't want to run, then again, get out. If you don't want to run, go. Like,
if you don't want to run, be a YouTuber.
It's like these players, right? These players we got, you can't win with them because apparently they moaned when all the double sessions the Poch used to do, right? And then when Jose wasn't doing enough training sessions, they were moaning about that. So what do you fucking want? Do you know what I mean? Like,
See, you're going to be in the stadium next season. There's some, probably I'm going to try and get to as many games as I can, but you're going to be definitely there for the majority. What are you going to? Okay, I'll take it back. What are you not going to want to see them do from the opening game? And what I mean by that is, if you see them first game of the season against City. Now, as I keep saying, I think that's the best time to play City at home.
Yeah,
but I don't want to see us just sitting off and thinking, oh, it's City. I want to see us go for it. I want to see that. Are you expecting the fans to get on their case if we don't be on the front foot? What's your thoughts on that initially?
Do you know what I want to see, right? I'll tell you what I don't want to see, yeah? And you guys probably will agree or not agree. I'm not too sure. But I think we're one of the worst teams in the Premiership of holding on to a lead, yeah? The likes of Fulham, West Ham's, anyone like that. You watch them play, they take a 1-0 lead, 25 minutes to go. They hold out. They don't bottle it. They don't go under pressure. How many times have we gone into the lead and then we've bottled it every single time the team's attacked? We're thinking, here we go. What I don't want to see at Spurs next season, right, and I think a lot of fans will be the same, is going into games, Man City game, first 15 minutes, we go 1-0 up, and then we try and defend that for the rest of the game. I do not want to see that week in, week out.
I don't want to see that.
I want to see us take a 1-0 lead, try and get a second goal, do the defending when we need to, but don't expect the teams to attack us constantly, and we're constantly under pressure. I don't want to see that. And I tell you what, if I'm going to see that after the first game, from the first game, I ain't going to be happy at all. Yeah,
and this is where the pressure is going to be put on them. Because as I said, the fans in the stadium is going to be so much different than it was for all of last season. There's not going to be the acceptance for them to play in a certain way.
It's that whole mentality, though, isn't it? You just got to get rid of some of those. We're going to have the same situation if we keep the players. So you've got to get rid of players to lose that mentality. Otherwise, it's just going to carry on being there, regardless. Whoever, even if we had Houdini, that mentality would still be there.
I mean, I agree with what Callum was saying. I want to see players from the moment that whistle goes to the moment that whistle finishes, running round.
Yeah,
like not like headless chickens, but running around, giving 100%.
Yeah, you want to see passion, fight, and determination.
Exactly.
Because look, as fans, whether you're watching in the stadium, because I'll be in the stadium as well. But like whether you're watching in the stadium or you're watching at home or wherever you are in the world, they just want to see you fight for the badge. That's all. Exactly. If we go to City, if City comes to Tottenham, right, and we lose 2-1. But at least we've given it all. We've 100%. Given our all. We've showed everything, like to get that as best as we can get, the best result we can get. Then I think our fans will be a lot more happy, but more. You can see this promise because you can see they're fighting for it. I don't want City to come here and roll us over like 5-0, and you're going to be like, everyone's going to go absolutely mental. The stadium will be toxic if it's
and this is where this comment here from Aaron. This comment here from Aaron. Is kind of, this is what I want to see from the likes of Nuno. I think, and he said, I think against teams like City, we need to be a little careful because we can't match them player to player. We need to think of different strategies. And it's the different strategies. This is what I want to see. I want to know, right, this is the team we're playing, right? I have a strategy for that. Kind of like, what's his name at Chelsea? He's that sort of man. Tuchel. He has a strategy to develop and how he plays. It's not necessarily, I'm going to play free. I'm going to develop the team to be able to play this team.
But then I want to see a lot according to each team, doesn't it?
And according to the team and according to how it plays in the game as well. So I want to see a little bit more development in terms of the strategy side, and not just we scored a goal, we're going to sit back. If we score a goal and we can see weaknesses within their team, let's exploit that. You know,
I think he'll do that as well. Look at the City games, the 2 City games that he did. I mean, he moved Traore from the right into the middle and absolutely destroyed them. And not when I say destroyed them, didn't dominate them. But he did the double on them, and it was the exact same game plan that he took to them. He held out defensively, and slowly as the game went on, he pushed that line forward, moved the Adama Traore into the middle, and he was dusting past those players, and he scored 2 goals and won the game for them. And he did the same thing again. And so he has got the capabilities of doing it.
what I like about him, right, is that if you go back, right, and look at his results over the last 3 years against the top 6, he's got one of the best results out of the teams in the top 10. If you actually look at the results he's had against them, he's beaten everyone. He's beaten Arsenal, he's beaten Chelsea, he's beaten Liverpool. Not Liverpool, not in the league, I don't think, but in the FA Cup they beat him, didn't they? So that he can. What I like is he has got results against the big teams. So that again is a promising thing. I mean, because I know as Tottenham fans, we want to beat the big teams more than anyone. So,
you know what, Danny, though? I do want to beat the big teams, but I've got to also be realistic. You've almost like we are in that bracket around about the 6th, 7th, 8th now with Arsenal, the Aston Villas, Leicester's, all the rest of it. If we beat the likes of the lower teams, that's where you're going to pick up, because we're not expected to go away and beat City. We're not expected to go to Anfield and beat Liverpool. But if you put performance in against the likes of Crystal Palace on a regular basis, do a double over them, you go to someone like Watford who's coming up. Those teams, I want to see them play against them thinking we're better than this lot, get the results. I
That's what we was missing out with last year. 100%. Too many draws against them type of teams. Let Leeds up against Fulham, Crystal Palace. Burnley, I think we got a draw with. Like, it's not good enough.
Because even at West Ham, look, we went 3-0 up, right, and we still ended up bottling it.
That was terrible. That's
you know what I mean.
That should never happen ever again.
This is
it. GPS Sanchez's fault and Aurier's fault, man.
I'm going to come to the last part. So I'm going to start with you, Callum. So this is why I'm coming to all of you on this last part for this part. What do you realistically expect us to achieve this season? Callum, I'm putting you on the spot first. Sorry about that, but someone's got to go first.
I think it goes without saying no trophies. Levy was talking about employing a manager. He was talking about employing a manager of our DNA, and our DNA, I don't know what that is other than trophy.
Definitely no ambition.
Nuno fits that criteria. So yeah, I'm not expecting a cup run. I think Darius mentioned earlier he'd love a cup run. I'm not really expecting that either. But 7th, 6th, 7th. Conference League again, back in the Conference League. If we're lucky, Europa League. But with regards to the Conference League, I'd like to see us win the Conference League. I know it's not a serious trophy, really and truly.
We've got to beat Roma. Jose Mourinho's Roma.
That European Cup, whatever it's called, I want to see us win that. I don't care if we get ridiculed saying, it's not even the Euro. I don't care. I just want us to win that because we should realistically win that. If we play towards the back end of it when you get there, we should be winning that. So, okay, we might win something. I'd like us to aim for the cups. I've always said that the domestic cups, we should be looking to play our strongest team because that's realistic where we can League Cup again. You know, we should be aiming to win that because we got to the final and we played City. I know that but we still had a chance. We was up to 80-odd minutes and we still had a chance in that game. Danny, what's your thoughts? What realistically are you thinking that we're going to achieve this season?
I just hope we don't get knocked out by Inter your mum in the Conference League. As for me, as long as that doesn't happen, then I'm all right. Like, I don't really care. But do you know what? I think realistically, top 7 is where you got to aim for. If you're getting any lower than top 7, you failed. You've had an awful season.
Agreed.
So for me, it's 5th or 6th. We're not going to get top 4. I mean, it'll be like a Pochettino like miracle if we were to get top 4, but that ain't happening. When you look at the likes, like Callum said earlier, like how Leicester improving, Villa improving, and these are teams that we were basically fighting with last season for those spots. And yeah, I mean, for me, it's got to be they've got to aim for top 7. They have to get Europa League at least, because if they manage to keep Kane this season, then they've got to try and push as much as they can before he leaves next season. Because I don't think he's going to leave this season.
I agree. That's some good points there. Sid, what you seeing as our goal for this season?
I think I agree with what Danny and Callum are saying. Realistically, right, first couple of games, Spurs are going to win. All Spurs fans are going to say, yeah, we're in the top 4. And that's what we want. That's what we want. But reality is we're not top 6. There's too many teams better than us at the moment. Unfortunately, Leicester's, Aston Villa's, maybe Everton and the Rafa as well. The best for me, 7th or 8th. I can't see us being unless the transfer season, unless the transfer window, we get some quality players in, get rid of the complete dead wood. I can't see anything above 7th or 8th. Cup wise, I think Nuno will want to win a cup. Yeah, and I just hope Daniel Levy doesn't do what he did this season, gets to a final and then sack the manager before the final.
Thing is, Sid, right? It's not Jason. Jason put a comment in there, and he's right. If you look at his cup runs before, he doesn't prioritize the cup. He's like he does what Poch does. He uses like the youth teams and stuff like that, the younger players, the B teams, and that's the thing. Like I think what he's probably told. Look, you got to think about it, right? Daniel Levy, what does he want more than anything? He wants money, right? So his main goal will be top 4. So he'll be saying to Nuno, the main priority is getting top 4. So he will put every ounce into trying to achieve that. Not saying we're going to, I don't think we will, but I think that's what he'll try to achieve. And I think if it means sacrificing the cups, he will, because unfortunately, that is just how Daniel Levy likes to run the club.
You know,
that's why I don't think we'll win a cup.
But Danny, if he's into money and all he wants is money, top 4 is going to get us money. But the further you go into the cups, the more money you're going to get. More matches, more money.
Those cups don't give you money. Not like Champions League football does.
No, it doesn't. But still,
that top 4.
The fans want trophies, but he wants top 4 because that's where the TV revenue comes in.
As much as Daniel Levy, my aim for we are not getting top 4. I
we're not.
Almost assure you that now. So again, they haven't in all the interviews. Daniel Levy did an interview recently. Paratici did an interview. Nuno's done one. No one's mentioned trophies. No one's mentioned anything about that.
Exactly.
No one's even mentioned about top 4. It's about getting the identity back for how we as Spurs want to play. Now, Daniel Levy's talked about this DNA and all this bullshit because I still don't know what strategy we're going to come up with. However, realistically, I think we should be aiming for top 6 and the domestic trophy. And in terms of that, I mean, looking at the League Cups, looking at that UECL, if you want to call it a domestic, because I look at it as being a domestic trophy. The teams you're going to play are not top quality European teams. And look at the FA Cup. If you do that and we was to get top 6 and let's say get to another final, maybe even a couple of finals, for Nuno, that would be a brilliant season because he has no history of winning stuff. He has no history of that. So why are we expecting him to bring him in and think, oh yeah, you're going to get top 4 or you're going to win the FA Cup? He has no history of that. But if his aim is that, and we at least somehow with the players that we may get in and the players that we get out, get somewhere closer, that I think that'll be a successful season potentially. Darius, what's your thoughts in terms of a successful season for Spurs?
I'm basically going to mirror everything Callum said. To be honest, if you lower your expectations, you won't get disappointed. To be honest, I'm not expecting anything. I think even if we get now, I'm thinking about it. And I was just thinking about all the teams that are in the league this season. Even if we get top 8, I think that's an achievement. I'm gonna be so real with you. Top 4's done. City, Chelsea, Man United, and Liverpool. And Leicester and Villa are better than us. I believe they've made very, very significant.
I'm not having Villa.
You're not having Villa. That's up to you. That's up to you. I think
they're signing Buendia as well.
I mean, they've got the best keeper in the league. They've got Tyrone Mings. If Grealish goes, that's completely different. I'm thinking with the mindset of Grealish being in there. But again, I will say this. I've learned, and what I think the Premier League in the next 5 years is going to be is not the best team winning it or the best teams doing well. It's the most consistent teams because there's so much competition now going all the way to 10th place. You're going to have to be the most consistent team. And that's proven by last season. As soon as City gathered their consistency, they washed it. They went and won the league. And I know they've got the talent to do that, but they were consistent. Same with Leicester until they started, failing at the end of the season. If a team's consistent, I genuinely believe they don't have to be the best team. They will do well. So that's what I want to see. I want to see consistency. If we can put on solid performances in most games, I'll be happy with that, to be honest, because I know that after what happened last season, the on and off form isn't going to work. A win and a loss or a win and draws aren't going to work. You're going to have to get wins or nothing. I think it's win or bust in the Premier League now. So you have to just go for it. In my opinion, you have to go for it and you have to keep consistent. I think Nuno can do that, but I'm not setting any expectations to we're going to get top 6, we're going to get anything. I need to see the transfers again. That's going to be a massive, massive factor. If I don't see players go, I just imagine those players are going to make that environment toxic and make that gathering, that family ethos that Nuno wants to do. He's going to make it 10 times harder when you've got the likes of Aurier and Alderweireld complaining that they want to leave. So for me, get the players gone and then work on bringing them in. And then we can start, getting a little bit more confident maybe for next season. But this season, everyone has to lower their expectations. And I promise you, you won't be angry. You won't be angry.
Go on, Danny.
Can I just add to that, right? Can I add to that quickly?
Yeah.
Do you know what, right? I think the fans are expecting that's a massive rebuild, right? But I don't think we're going to get it this season. It'll be like a couple players out and a couple players in, maybe 4 in, 4 out sort of thing, right? Yeah. Because I personally think, right, you got to look at it like this, right? Nuno, for me, is a stopgap manager. He's there. He's got a 2-year contract for a reason, because he's here to steady the ship, try and get us back to a competitive team, right? That's what he's there to do. If anything like a Poch thing happens where he's lucky and he somehow miraculously does better and overachieves, then Daniel Levy's like, oh, great, brilliant. But if not, he'll just get rid of him in 2 years and it'll be someone else. They'll try and go for Poch again. I think that's what they're probably going to do for me. That's how I see it. That's why we're not going to get this massive rebuild.
Yeah, I don't think, as I said, I don't think Kane's going this season, but potentially next season. So I think he'll still have the majority of the better players, because obviously we're contracted to Hugo Lloris situation. Not quite sure. Toby again, not so sure about that. Mike, what's your thoughts on the realistic achievements for Spurs this season?
With that, the squad that we've got, it's not a bad. I say that certainly the first 11. The first 11 isn't a bad first 11 at all. It is a strong starting 11 that we've got. Very strong. So if Nuno can, if he can, as I said before, if he can bring stability within the squad, within the team, and he plays to the players' strengths that he's got, then I think we'd be in for a fairly solid season. I'm not saying we'll get top 4 or we'll win the Premier League or anything like that, but there should certainly be no reason why we can't go and win the conference. Because I mean, apart from Roma, who else is in that? Who else is in that cup?
And to be fair, he did well in Europa when he was playing in that. I think he got to the quarterfinals. Did he not with Wolves? Was it the quarterfinals?
So there should be no reason why he doesn't prioritise, or that should be one of the cups that he prioritises. Because really and truly, we should be one of the favourites in that competition. And it's the same with like a domestic cup. Why can't we do something? I know history says that Nuno doesn't play the strongest teams in the domestic cups, but this is Tottenham. It's a different kettle of fish for him. He's not at Wolves. He's at a bigger club, so he should be able to prioritise a domestic cup, a conference cup, and a respectable league position with Tottenham Hotspur. There should be no reason why that can't be achievable. Again, I know Danny and Darius and Callum have all mentioned it. It all does depend on who we bring in and who we sell. We're not going to get a complete massive, like Danny says, we're not going to get 10 players shipped out this summer. That's not happening. There's no way on our surface that's going to happen. But realistically, you could probably see 4 or 5 players shipped out, and that amount of players brought in. And along with a few of the youth team players that we've saw on the fringes last season, you bring them in and give them some of the experience, especially in like the Conference Cup and in the FA Cups, League Cups. If you sort of just gently ease them in into those games with more experienced players, then that'll only benefit not just them as a player, but us as a club. So I think if Nuno can bring stability to the squad, to the club, and he gets the fans back on side, and as I say, and I'm going over myself here, but as I say, bring in the players that he wants and gets rid of the players that we know aren't going to be playing for the badge, then let's see what happens. Got to remain positive. It's a new manager, new ideas.
100%. I think that's the point. Is that we have to be positive for the early point. I think we will see fairly early on in terms of those first 5-6 league games how the season might progress, because it's a mix and match. You know, we've got some tough games in there, but we have got some relatively easy games. I know we've got Watford in there. I think it's Crystal Palace as well. But we have got Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man City to play. So it's going to be a test. And we will actually see. Guys, it's been really good. I want to come. Sorry, Mike. Just want to come to some of these guys.
I was going to say something.
Go on. Was you going to say anything?
No, mate. I wasn't going to say nothing.
All right. Callum, where can people find you?
Never a Foul YouTube channel. I do views from the Skywalk on there. The Tottenham content is nowhere near as consistent as the Paxton Road. We've been doing Euro watch-alongs and things like that. Yeah, so subscribe will be appreciated. But thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure coming on this channel.
As always. And the Bun, where can people find you?
Mate, I'm just a bit of a slag, man. You can find me everywhere, man. You can find me everywhere. Like, just every channel,
He is everywhere.
Like, I'm everywhere.
You did not just call yourself a slag,
He
bro.
called
You
himself.
Hey, I am, man. That's what it is. But look, listen, man. Look, mostly, I'm a guest that. Well, I'm a regular actually on the Irish Hotspur, so that's where mainly you'll find me. I do a lot of shows with David and the boys
Great
there,
channel.
so I'm there all the time. But
You've got your own channel, haven't you? Coming out?
It's on hold at the moment. There's things going on in my personal life which is
Okay.
kind of putting it on hold, and new job and things like that. So I'm not sure. It's in discussions with other people, but we'll see. But if not, there is something in the pipeline. So
Cool, man.
yeah.
Well, you're welcome back as a regular guest, as is Callum.
Mate,
We would
I
love
love
you
this
guys
show,
to...
man. I love your channel. Honestly, it's an absolute honor to come on here. You know me, Sam. I'll come on whenever you want me here because I love
Thank
it.
you very much.
Always have fun on here, man.
Likewise.
Always.
That's blessed. Thank you all the viewers that are watching. Please hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. If you are new to the channel as well, subscribe if you want to get more content from us. Watch out for our new shows that we've got coming up as well. We've obviously got our transfer special with Sid down in that right corner there. He's doing that on a regular basis, Monday and Fridays potentially, where we'll be looking through all the transfers during the summer. And we'll also be looking to do with one of our new guests that we've had on previously, Spursy141. We're going to be doing some new shows where we might have a show called Judge Judy where she's going to do player ratings for us. That's still in discussion, but look out for all of these things. Guys, it has been a pleasure as always. Thanks to all those viewers with all the comments. We love all these comments. We can't get through all of them, I know, to respond to all of them, but we try and put everything up where possible. But it's been a pleasure. We hope that we are going to have as successful a season. Like I said, top 6 minimum. If we can get a trophy out of that as well, I'd love to have that as Spurs. But we'll see what happens. Pre-season starts tomorrow, guys. Take it easy. Let's see you later.
Come on, you Spurs.